A father and son take the old highway from Adelaide to Melbourne, but the mist isn't empty. Something waits on the bridge. Pale figures line the road, and the whispers inside the car say only one word: leave. Crawling from every corner of the world, come the stories that should never be told. Creepy stories from around the world. If you enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. It truly helps us make more of this type of content. Tom Sinclair had forgotten how quiet a house could get once the sun went down. The kitchen clock ticked stubbornly, louder in the emptiness. Upstairs, his son's footsteps had long since faded. On the table lay the funeral notice, folded and unfolded until the paper was close to tearing. Grace Sinclair, service at 9 a.m., St. Patrick's Cathedral, Melbourne. He pressed it flat with both palms as if holding the words in place. A week ago, he'd sat in the hospital in Adelaide, waiting for the last machine to fall silent. What astonished him wasn't grief at first, but how quickly silence could erase a life. Her body had already gone east, sent back to Melbourne. That was where the family was from, where the Sinclairs had always been buried. The old grave plots on the hill above the cathedral were waiting. Now grief had caught him, heavy, bruising. He hadn't known what to do with it, except keep moving. He called the funeral home, cleared his schedule, told Eli they would drive. The boy hadn't protested, but his shoulders tightened, his gaze guarded. 16 and already pulling away into a world Tom couldn't reach. When Eli came down in his hoodie, backpack slung, hair messy, he looked pale in the hallway light. "You ready?" Tom asked. Eli only shrugged. They locked the house. The air smelled of damp soil, the kind that promised rain. The last light bled violet across the horizon. Tom settled into the driver's seat and caught the house in the rearview mirror. Its windows blank, its shape hunched in shadow, as though watching them leave. A cold shiver ran through him before he turned the key. The road climbed sharply into the Adelaide hills. Tall gums pressed close, their trunks pale as bone in the headlights. The cuttings narrowed, rock hemming them in. Sunlight never reached far here, and even in twilight the air felt thick, the trees shutting out the sky. The car strained uphill, engine growling. By Crafers the forest thinned, and the hills opened into broad rolling land. Still steep, but less suffocating. Paddocks stretched pale in the dusk, dotted with scrub and stunted trees. Eli leaned against the window, earbuds dangling though no music played. Tom tried the radio, only static. He switched it off. The hum of the engine was the only sound. Beyond the hills, the highway straightened into black ribbon. At Murray Bridge, trucks thundered east along the bypass. The new road avoided the town, climbing north of it in long curves. Tom ignored the signs, then spotted the old exit. Without quite knowing why, he took it. The old highway narrowed, quieter, forgotten. Rest stops sat empty, lit by a single buzzing globe. No trucks here anymore. Once this had been the main crossing of the Murray, now it felt abandoned. The semi they passed looked derelict, its tarp snapping, hazard lights pulsing faint in the dark. "Where do you think he went?" Eli asked. "Maybe walked for help." In the middle of nowhere, Tom pressed the accelerator. The truck fell behind. The road dipped. Ahead, fog pooled across the low ground near the bridge. The river itself was hidden in the dark, but the mist rolled thick over the asphalt, swallowing the beams. Halfway across, something swelled from the fog, hunched, uneven, tall as the railings. 2 points glinted like eyes. Tom froze. The shape sank back without a sound. "You saw that," Eli whispered. Tom didn't answer. They climbed again toward Talem Bend, the plateau lights perched above them. From the highway, the river was invisible. You had to stop, go behind the buildings to see it. But Tom kept his eyes on the fog curling over the old bridge below. At a service station, the attendant barely looked up. Only when Tom turned to leave did the man speak, voice low, cracked. "Don't stop by the water tonight." Tom froze. "We won't." The man gave a single nod, as though that was the answer he expected, and went back to his till. Fog closed heavier as they rejoined the highway. The tires lost their hum. It was as though the bridge itself had vanished. From the mist rose a bulk, slick hide, a lidless eye that refused the light. The bridge groaned beneath unseen weight. Eli whimpered. Tom stamped the accelerator. Sound crashed back in a rush. The hum, the vibration, the bridge alive again. They burst onto the far bank, both of them gasping. But the river followed them still. Mist clung to the roadside, and in its gaps Tom glimpsed something sliding in the reeds, keeping pace. Then the asphalt ended. A collapse of earth, road falling into the river. He wrenched the wheel. The river below spread wide, black, rippling with rings from some colossal breath. A head broke the surface, snout ridged, jaw yawning wide. No teeth, only a cavernous dark. A bellow shook the air, deep as an organ collapsing. The stench hit, sulfur and rot. Eli screamed. Tom reversed so hard gravel spat like bullets. The beast rose higher, uncoiling without end before sinking back into the fog. They fled into the night. The highway wound upward again, cliffs to one side, nothing to the other. At a rise, headlights caught ochre markings sprawled across stone. Spirals, handprints, hollow-eyed figures. The paint glistened as though fresh. One of the heads seemed to turn. Moments later, the bush erupted. A mottled body slammed across the bonnet. The windscreen spiderwebbed. Claws tore steel. Headlights died. Eli cried out. The creature bellowed, a vibration that rattled Tom's teeth. Then it was gone. The forest settling as if nothing had moved at all. Neither spoke. Further on, pale figures appeared at the roadside. First one, then clusters. Bone-white, hollow-eyed, sockets too wide. They never moved, never blinked. Only watched. Whispers seeped into the car, layered voices, a language Tom couldn't place. Eli clamped his hands over his ears, shouting. Then a clear female voice cut through, close enough to brush Tom's neck. Leave. The headlights flickered. For a moment the road disappeared. Only hollow faces leaned toward the glass. Then the beams steadied, and the highway stretched empty once again. Hours later, the ranges gave way to flat country. The highway stretched straight and black through paddocks, dark silhouettes of trees scattered across the fields. The road seemed endless. By dawn, Melbourne's skyline grew out of the pale horizon. Jagged towers at the head of the bay. Not the ocean, not here, but an inlet, vast and enclosed. Port Phillip Bay lay like a black basin, water trapped and waiting. Eli stirred, voice raw. They're still with us. His eyes locked on the rearview mirror. Tom forced himself to look ahead. But instinct betrayed him, and in the glass, just for a heartbeat, a pale face lingered between the back seats. Eyes black, endless. Then the sun broke the horizon, and the face was gone. If you enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. It truly helps us make more of this type of content.